Depuis que j'ai commencé à jouer à The Finals, j'ai toujours beaucoup à jouer à quel vous jouez comme Team Fortress 2. J'ai été attiré par des armes comme les revolvers, les double canons et les modèles 1887. Les armes avec lesquelles vous tirez une fois, et si vous touchez les bons entrants, vous infligez une grosse partie des dégâts. Je préfère toujours les armes comme celle-ci, mais j'ai ouvert mes options à des armes à tir plus soutenues. Le fusil mitrailleur Lewis, les harnes et les FK m'avaient tous à l'esprit lorsque j'ai pensé à ces armes à tir soutenu que j'aime utiliser. Mais avant de me familiariser avec ces armes, j'ai dû m'éloigner du modèle. Et pour ce faire, j'ai utilisé mon deuxième ajout de gameplay préféré de la saison 2, les Famas. The Famas had two things going for it when it released. For one, it was a bridge between the single-shot weapons I like and the sustained fire weapons I would learn to enjoy. You fire one burst with 3 bullets, and if you hit all 3 bullets, you do a lot of damage. If you only hit 1 bullet, you do a little bit of damage. The second thing it had going for it was familiarity with the battle rifle when I played Halo. Even though it was restricted to iron sights when it released, I still really enjoyed the weapon, and I would continue using the iron sights until the selection of sights was increased in Season 6 when I swapped over to the holographic sight. After the release, the Famas would see itself as a secondary pick for me if I needed a little bit more range or if I wasn't hitting my model shots right. It was a very competent weapon that dealt great damage, and it hardly ever let me down. Everything about this gun felt right, from the firing sound to the reload sounds and reload animations, especially that full reload. The whole gun was just like a nice watch. It looked good and it worked good. Honestly, compared to everything else added in Season 2, the Famas is up there with the best, alongside the Gateway and the Dematerializer. The KS-23 on launch wasn't great, the Data Reshaper was forgettable, and the 93R was a meme until it was capable of destroying the world. The Famas was just a good rifle, and the biggest problem people had with it was a lack of a sight. Now, after using the Famas with the holographic for so long, the iron sights do feel pretty off, and I understand why people didn't like it, but back in the day, I was still able to do some real good work with the irons, and I'm still okay with them. It's probably due to my playstyle, as I see this gun as a medium range fighter, slightly longer range than the P90 and the AKM, but not as long ranged as the Pike and the Repeater. And the best part about this weapon is that flexibility. You can easily switch from poking enemies at a distance to gunning them down at close range, much like the FCAR. Now, this might sound like cope, but I don't see the Famas as a gun you should aim for the head with. Maybe I'm just bad, but when aiming for the head, I'm more likely to miss my burst, and I lose out on a lot of damage that way, even if I hit one headshot. That's why I aim for the upper chest, since even with body shots, the Famas can still do some respectable damage, and the recoil is likely to jump up to a headshot every now and then. Combine this with the spammability of the gun, almost as spammable as the M16A4 in Battlefield 4, and you can pretty easily take out most opponents when you're in a duel. This is also helped by the hipfire spread of this gun. Now, I know some of you might know how I feel about hipfire weapons that aren't shotguns, but this gun has the advantage over the revolver because you have more bullets. This is another aspect the gun has in common with the FCAR. And this familiarity with the FCAR would be the downfall of the Famas for me, as I would find myself switching off the Famas for the FCAR and just sticking with that for my main rifle pick. The FCAR is just easier to use. It's fully automatic, has low recoil, has good damage, and good range. Basically, everything the Famas has, but you don't need to click between shots. I also just think it's a cooler gun. Also, because the FCAR is fully automatic rather than burst, I feel like I can aim for the head and not miss out on as much damage as I would with the Famas. I also feel like I have to count how many bursts I fire in my head with the Famas. I do this with just about any non-automatic gun, but especially with the Famas since you only have 9 bursts, and if you miscount or forget how much ammo you have, you'll find yourself waiting for a revive. After getting used to the FCAR, I just dropped the Famas, which feels pretty scummy since it was the weapon that helped me branch out into other options. The Famas led to the FCAR, which led to the Lewis gun, which led to basically everything else. Now, I might be exaggerating a little bit. I'd probably branch out to other weapons without the Famas, but that familiarity it had with the model made that switch quicker. Honestly, it's one of the reasons Season 2 is so high on my list, because it solidified my playstyle and helped me become a more flexible player when it comes to guns. It's also the season I started playing heavy seriously, and that spark would become a wildfire around Season 6. When coming back to the Famas, I really enjoyed my time. This is just a great rifle to have when playing with a dematerializer mindset. Stay mobile, manipulate cover, but most importantly, keep distance. With this in mind, I was able to take out enemies left and right without breaking a sweat. It's much like the model, just with more range. It's also a pretty good gun against lights. It sometimes leads to revolver syndrome, aka leaving a light at 1 HP as he gets away, but I feel like that's less common than the revolver because of the occasional headshot I land and the fact the Famas has more bullets than the revolver. Heavies are also a pretty easy target, since aiming for center mass is like finding water in the ocean, and headshots are a lot more consistent against these guys. The combat flow of this gun is just great. Every burst fired from this gun is a rush. It makes me want to keep firing, keep hitting those satisfying bursts, and just never leave combat. When I play this game, I usually play as a support, with my teammates around me, doing everything I can to beat any encounter with more guns firing instead of having a bigger gun in my hands. But with the Famas, I lose that desire. When I pull out the Famas, I want to take on every enemy myself. Even if I don't win, I still want to keep doing that. I want to get the team wipe. I want to be as far away from my team as possible to get those kills. I want to take on every enemy by myself. I love this gun. Not enough to become a new main like the Lewis gun or the model, but just enough to make me want to pick it. I want to switch off the model to use this gun. I want to switch off heavy to use this gun. I want any reason possible to use this gun. It's an amazing gun, and I can't believe I ever dumped it. Fun fact, this video was going to be my 5th video in the original My Favorite Finals video series. It was going to be released during Season 4 when the Famas was first given a sight option, which was the biggest complaint about the gun. The video was going to be centered around how the sight edition was good for most people, but the gun itself was also overshadowed by the pike being the new long-range option for medium. Eventually, I scrapped the video because I couldn't visualize it as a completed project, and the pike got nerfed, so nobody bothered using it anymore. As time has passed, I've realized I still could make a video on the Famas, just less focused on its place in the meta, and just as a gun I enjoy. I'm going to do my best to continue this line of videos as it's fun to use weapons I like, which allows me to find more things to talk about, think about more strategies, and collect footage all at the same time. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.